Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Let's Talk Fabulous show with Tamara. My name is Tamara Hunter, and I am your host. And this is the show where we explore our fabulous lives. Today, we are going to be talking with an expert panel about the miracles of healing. So, without any further ado, it's time, and let's meet our panel. And let's talk. I want to say welcome to our fabulous panelists, and we have one more that is working to get in. This is live, guys. Live streaming TV. It's the Wild Wild West, and we love it. However, sometimes we have connection issues, and so you may find one more panelist coming in and out. We're going to say, the miracle of TV is wonderful, live, and well. However, right now, what we're going to do is I have invited a dear friend to explain what it is that we are doing on this show. So let's hear from Renee.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's fabulous show. It's all about the miracles of healing. My name is Renee Reich. I am the founder of Finding Your Voice Network, and I've experienced my own personal miracles in my journey. And today you're going to be hearing from expert panelists who will be sharing incredible stories of the healing. You will be amazed. So get ready, grab your paper, grab your pen, and grab your tissue box. You are not going to want to miss this. Tamara, have a fabulous show, and I will see you all soon.
Welcome all that are joining us in our studio audience today. And we are going to now meet a few of our panelists. We're going to start with one that, let me tell you, I have been following for a while. And her ability to touch your soul is absolutely real. And she has been doing it for many years with best-selling books, with TV, with radio, and more. Let's meet Dr. Joanne White.
Hi, I'm Dr. Joanne White, and I'm here to help you bring your visions into the world. You have to give yourself permission to create the success, the wealth, the health, the wellness, the abundance in everything that you desire. The beauty of us is that we're energy, and energy is constantly moving and constantly changing. So we're not fixed at one particular point. We have the ability to shift our energy, and when we do, something very magical happens. We can actually, with shifting our energy consciously, we're doing it all the time, but we're doing it unconsciously, to be able to bring into our sphere, into us, into our surroundings, our world, our reality, whatever it is we choose, with conscious awareness, with inspiration, and with passion. Because passion and the desire can actually move you past your own roadblocks and past your own resistances. Because you know that when you wake up in the morning, there's a reason for doing what you're doing. There's a reason to wake up and to continue on that path and on that goal and to create that vision. Your inner mind is always paying attention to what it is you say, and you're following that. You can be your own master creator, being the precious person that you are. We already come into this life with incredible innate gifts. My job, as well as your job, is to help access those gifts and to bring that potentiality that you have that's within you, that's just waiting to be manifested onto the world and into your reality, and to do so with as much ease, as much joy, as much clarity, and as much vision as you possibly can.
Welcome, Dr. Joanne White. And you and I were visiting just a little bit ago, and you were talking about your journey to the miracle of healing. And I'd love for you to share about that with everyone.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Tamara. And actually, some of my journey right now, I put in a book, in a chapter. I came in doing mirror writing, not intentionally, which means reversal writing, so that when I started to write, everything looked like you couldn't read it. And my teachers thought there was something very much wrong with me. And I had to get over that for many, many years. Basically, it's the only way to really decode it was to hold it up to a mirror. I don't do that anymore, thankfully. But that started my journey of really trying to figure out who I was. And I am different from a lot of people, and being okay with that and working on myself to heal the messages that were in my head that said, and they didn't come from me initially, they came from teachers and people who thought I was very strange, and the messages that said, you're not good enough, you can't do anything right, what's wrong with you? And they plagued me for many, many years. And I had to find alternative ways of shifting that mind talk. So, and some of it was through energy work. I'm a Reiki master teacher, also through hypnotherapy and many other ways, and other things that I studied, so that now my mind says, good job, Joanne. But that was a long journey. There's more to that, but I don't want to take up all everybody's time.
I love it. I love it. And does anybody want to say anything to piggyback off of what Joanne has just shared?
I think it's fabulous, Joanne, that you were doing mirror writing. I mean, that sounds so mystical and wonderful. And yeah, because it to me, it just shows that you came in with these special gifts, innately. And that's really cool. I'd love to get to know you better. That is really awesome.
Thank you, Joy, but it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
Many times it's not, right? And also, I want to recognize the fact that you went into education because of being inspired by someone. And oftentimes that's exactly what happens too, is that we're inspired at the moment, and that moment can then piggyback or be the domino that you showing up, helping someone else, and then that will then translate to helping so many more. You've now written best-selling books. You've been out there teaching about, and I want to personally say thank you. There are so many that, mothers like myself that have needed professionals, educational specialists that will help their kids, that will help others that have, if you will, not problems, but challenges in their lives. And, that's one of the miracles of healing, is healing disease, yes, but also healing what the society sometimes expects of us. And so I want to say thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, next one up for us to meet of our special panel. And we are going to now hear from one of my mentors, Joy Willett.
Have you already achieved success as a leader in your field? But right now you're feeling completely immobilized because you know you have an even bigger vision to step into, but you just can't tap into it. I know you're socially conscious and you're here to change an industry, but you're lost in too many possibilities. You are hovering between chaos and almost crisis. Hi, I'm Joy Willett, and I'm a transformational mentor. I work with successful entrepreneurs, executives, and innovators who are high achievers and visionaries just like you. By reconnecting you to your heart and mind, I help you to break through those barriers, unlock your mission, and step into your next big vision that you came here to make. As someone who has been in the transformational health movement, as well as being certified for over 25 years in the neuroscience field, I am so rewarded when I get to help attorneys, celebrities, award-winning sports figures, innovators just like you, to move into their next categories of genius. Did you happen to know and realize that we are only using 3% of our minds consciously? That leaves a whopping 97% that is out of our awareness and sitting at the unconscious level. When you work with me, using the time-proven tools of mind and heart transformation, I will help you to tap into that unlimited potential in the unconscious so that you can be limitless and unstoppable. Can you imagine what it will be like when you are able to move into your next level of brilliance in your career, your life, and your mission? Because the world needs you, doesn't it?
Oh,
Yay! All right. So, Joy, I want to talk to you about, thank you for that beautiful video. I love it. I love it. Love it. You also work very closely with people that have been experiencing and need that miracle in health. And you have helped so many people for years and years. And I'd love for you to be able to call upon possibly a story, a time that, because one of the things that you didn't share in there is that you also are a first responder when it comes to part of what it is that you've been trained to do. You have been there for our community so many times to help people through cancer. And I'd love for you to be able to share a little of that and what it is that you have been bringing to the world.
oh gosh. Well, and first off, it's a delight and joy to be here with you, Tamara, again, and with these beautiful healers and experts in their fields, Tim, Joanne, and Michael, and yourself. And it's, I guess everyone has a story where they begin, and for me, I was always a seeker of how do we create beyond what's here, what's visible. And, it's a combination of using your mind as well as your heart and getting out of your own way. So I am trained, as my little video said, in the neuroscience-based tools of NLP and hypnosis. I've been very interested in all of that for, gosh, I don't want to date myself too much, but 35 years hypnosis, 32 years NLP, and timeline therapy, as well as being an intuitive guide, as you know, Tamara. Also, it's not just mind, it's also our heart, knowing that we're connected to everything, everywhere, all the time, the spiritual realms. And, I'm also, I guess we'd say, a psychic medium of sorts, right? And so when you're working with somebody who's going through trauma of whatever nature, it's just how they are interpreting it. Now, cancer is definitely not just how you're interpreting it. It is also where the physical body is saying, hello, I need help, right? And the ways to, the way the unconscious mind runs the physical body. So we can also talk directly to our bodies, commanding it for healing, as well as, spiritual healing too. So it's not either or, it's a beautiful combination. And so it's about getting out of our own way in terms of limiting beliefs and feelings about ourselves, so we can be more empowered for the healing to really naturally come in, as you know, Tamara. Because, when someone's dealing with a very, when something has come into the physical body, whether, there's many reasons why physical illness happens. And it's been studied that it's a result over the centuries, as well as over the different schools of thought and civilizations, of the body, mind, and spirit getting out of alignment. Let's just leave it as simple as that. So when we can bring ourselves back into alignment within ourselves on that the thoughts we're thinking and feeling, the thoughts we're thinking actually produce the emotions, and the emotions that are inside of our body also can create health or not health, right? Dis-ease. And this is documented in a lot of different books in this day and age, from Deepak Chopra, Louise Hay, Dr. Hammer, to ancient civilizations, that have been using body, mind, and spirit, as well as indigenous peoples. So, I mean, oh gosh, there's so many stories, Tamara, but it's like, I will just share with you all one of the ways that you can also think about your body, and even healing. And even if something happens as dramatically as something, like even say a cut happens, right? Free from that, right? A cut happens. You can say, stop the bleeding now. You do a direct command in the positive to your unconscious mind while you're waiting to get help or whatever it is, right? You can actually direct your body, and you talk to it like it's a 5-year-old kid, right? It's the unconscious mind functions like that. And the unconscious mind is running our nervous system, and it's running all of those processes within our body. So I guess my mission in life is to help people understand that they have a lot more power within themselves as they seek to learn about these things. And there's so many different modalities of healing that are wonderful, that we have the ability to be more in control of our physical bodies, even by communicating with that part that is running it, the unconscious mind. And yeah. So.
Thank you. And I have a feeling that all of you would like to piggyback off of this, because you all have something, I'm sure, to share. And who would like to right this minute say something? Yes. Okay. Go ahead, Dr. Joanne.
Okay. I so agree with you, Joy, because, and I do work in that arena too. And oftentimes our bodies, when we have some kind of dis-ease or whatever, our bodies are giving us very strong messages. So it's so important not only to listen to them, but like you said, and I will do that too, help our body and understand what our body needs, and also be able to move past that. And working on all those different levels, I'm also an intuitive, working on all those different levels and really being able to access all of the gifts, which we all have. I believe we all have them. That's a miracle. And when we do that, we can feel so much more alive and so much better and move forward with our own healing. So thank you for that.
I love it. Okay. I know Tim Zimmerman is going to want to say something too, and he's up next. So I'm actually going to give his video first, or show his video. And we also have Patty Mays with us, and she is another one that is just right up the alley with all of this, and glad that you're with us right now, Patty. All right. So Tim, I'm going to share your video, and so everybody understands where you're coming from also, because this is right in line with your experience. Here we go.
My name's Tim Zimmerman. I'm the CEO and founder of SM3Success.com. SM3 stands for Sales, Marketing, Management, and Mindset Control and Development. Been a healer since 1981. Meditate without talking about meditation. Project your spirit or your soul without talking about astral travel. And that was the first time I got involved in that and started practicing it. Went to India, Egypt. I'd studied advanced Raja Yoga, studied under 5 different yogic masters, went through 5 different empowerments too with the Dalai Lama. So I've done more than most in all of that. And I've worked on healing for individuals, I do astral surgery. I do astral healing. I'm a Reiki master. For my personal journey, as I was in a car accident in 1998, disintegrated my disc in my neck, my lower back. I broke my ankle and my clavicle. So starting in 2000, I went through 8 surgeries in 8 years. They called them failed surgeries because it didn't overcome the pain. By 2012, I was up to 300 milligrams of morphine a day, plus Percocet, Soma, Xanax, sleep meds, and wake meds. And then a protocol came through me in September of 2012 that I used on myself for 3 full days, and after the 3rd day, I was totally out of pain. So I wrote a book called The Advanced Pain Protocol to get to the root causes of not only pain, disease, limiting beliefs, or of the challenges that they face on a day-to-day basis.
You have so much background. In fact, there was more to share. However, I thought we would go into it because your background is you started studying all of this and you traveled the world. And then you find you need it in a major way for yourself. And that is after you had been sharing a lot of the solutions out there with others. And you were in a world of, if you will, hurt, huge hurt, with that huge medicine bag. I'm sure every month the pharmacist was ready to go. Okay, here's your big number 10 bag full of stuff. And then you get a download, you get a protocol that comes through you, changed your life and has changed the life of many, many, many. Let's talk about that.
I'm smiling because you took my 45-minute explanation and brought it down to like 2 minutes. So I appreciate your editing skills as far as that goes. But when what was interesting to me is that over the years I've worked on many people as far as healing them. I don't talk about it. I normally do that type of thing free of charge. And when I see the need, individuals on Facebook or I come in contact with, that healing comes out of me from spirit. So from an early age, I knew that I was a soul with a mind and a body to use to benefit myself and to others. But what really got me into seeking, right? We're all seekers. What got me into it was my family life, because my father was an alcoholic. I had 3 older brothers, 2 older sisters, 2 younger brothers, and a younger sister. As I was growing up, I got beat up all the time, and there was, of course, the physical abuse, the verbal abuse, and in studying all of that, and studying and practicing and coming to terms with what actually works, it drove me into the Think and Grow Rich and Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, the Dale Carnegie type stuff, into the Marines, because I had to prove that I was the best of the best. And all of that was to overcome the inner feelings of not being good enough, not smart enough, not handsome at all, and being unlovable. So what I found through this 40+ year journey is that all of us go through that. Doesn't matter what top celebrity there is, just like Michael Tyson, talks about the feeling when he was at the top of his career, he still felt that he wasn't good enough. And the interesting thing is that unless you go back into the unconscious, subconscious and remove the root causes of it, which is what I do now. It's under, I consider it more of an advanced energy psychology. We're able to do that now in such a way where within a month, the negatives that people have, whether that be abuses, mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, the inner feelings of not being lovable or good enough, or all of those types of things, self-sabotage, post-traumatic stress, negative experiences, whether that be worked with individuals that were raped at a young age, both male and female. Whatever that is, we can now remove it in the root cause. And we can do that with hypnotherapy or NLP and other modalities, eye movement therapy. This particular aspect that I do, individuals can actually do it themselves with me in a video. And if they do that video for a month, 95% of their stuff is gone. And we replace that. It's like pulling weeds. We pull the weed and then replace it with the polar opposite positive. And even further than that now, in the soul aspect, we can go into the soul consciousness of an individual all the way back to the birth of their soul, back through to the here and now and into the forever future, which is interesting to talk about. But we can remove all of the debris that they've accumulated over their incarnations. And that is a very exciting thing. So, yeah, you know, back from when I started, it was just regular success stuff. I wanted to prove myself, and I did. I ran mortgage companies, had my own TV show, trained realtors for 25 years, and now this is what I do on a day-to-day basis, and I love it.
Thank you. Anybody want to say anything? Yes, Dr. Joanne.
You know, and I do that work too. With working with the subconscious is so wonderful. And you're right. So many people have accumulated those feelings of lack and unworthiness, and it can travel with us, with them throughout their lifetimes. But you can reset. And that's the beauty of it all. You can really be able to shift that with hypnotherapy, with energy work, with what you do, with what you all do. And it works. And the miracle of it is that we feel so much better and that we can move forward and also be able to tap in, like you talked about soul. There is that soul consciousness that we can communicate with. And it's beautiful when we do that and we get information as to how to move forward and live our lives. So thanks, Tim.
Thank you for that. Yes, Joy.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm going to piggyback on this too, because, you know, we like you said, Tamara, we all are working in these modalities and we have different names for them. However, they're very, very similar. And the work I do also, like Dr. Joanne and Tim and possibly Michael even, right, is working with that root cause, going back, and what the unconscious mind and the superconscious, and I also work with what we call the superconscious. These are just names for how we live in our bodies as spiritual beings, having this very physical experience. But the unconscious mind and superconscious recognizes that we have other times, other lifetimes, and it doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. A person that we work with consciously, it's like where it wants to go, and it will go back all the way back to where the root cause is. And sometimes it's eons ago, like you were talking about, Tim, and also Joanne. And then it also is so that we can create in our future timelines, and there are multiple timelines, by the way. We won't even get into that rabbit hole today.
Another time.
Also, yeah, that's another one. That we can go then when we are all clear. It's kind of like when we're clear and, you know, we have a house and we want to clean it out, then we can redesign it. And this is all for the purpose of redesigning who we are so that we can really live an incredible, amazing life just the way we want to, right?
I love it. We're going to meet Michael now. You mentioned Joy. Okay, maybe Michael. Okay, he has a little clip. I'm going to share that. We're going to go into his story, which is very interesting.
This is Michael Accurso. I'm really excited and just sharing my story of what it's like coming back from multiple accidents, congestive heart failure, 13 to 14 different hospitals, 4 or 5 ICUs, and really to talk about my book next that really is a combination of a life journey that has not been easy, but it's been incredible also. The pinnacle of success through network marketing, teams around the world. Teams have done 1.7 billion. But it's also a story of hope that anything's possible if you don't quit. You can look up, you can get up. So I'm very excited that Tamara invited me. I'm excited what this journey looks like. I'm excited to tell my story of hope to inspire someone that anything's possible with God.
Welcome, Michael. So you actually have a little bit of a different background than our other healer practitioners, yet you have an incredible healing story that we need to talk about. The reason that I invited you here with this particular panel is because of the fact that when we understand, when we really get to the bottom of what a miracle of healing is all about, there is actually a commonality, and we all have a commonality here. And when we get into it with Michael, you guys are going to all see exactly that we are all in alignment. Yeah, you come from the business world. I mean, we're talking multi-level marketing, many of them where you have had the biggest kind of impact throughout the world with huge teams. You've won huge awards with each and every one of the multi-level marketing groups that you've gone into, yet your story is all about the personal. And I'm not sure if he's frozen right now.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead and talk. You're frozen in picture, but we can hear you.
Well, because it's all great information. And I just want to say every one of you are winners. Every one of you are miracles. I mean, you're 1 out of 4 that got this place you were born. And when you understand that there's defining moments, any moments can make or break you. I had that moment. I was in an accident, hit by a drunk driver, 10:39, and was hit again, left for dead. I understand that it's life. We are going to go through challenges, but I do know that there's an internal structure within us. My favorite verse is, with God, all things are possible. Because in that defining moment, you can understand what your purpose is, why you're here, and that you can overcome anything. Every day, there's a miracle waiting to happen. Whatever challenge you're going through, whatever you're facing, there's a story of a woman, 79 years old, that picked a car off of her grandchild. We don't know what power we have within us. It's almost insurmountable.
Yeah.
We understand that creative, evolving, do things. And sometimes the worst
Michael, we're having a little bit of a technical issue right now where you're breaking up a lot. However, maybe what you can do is come in and again, go out and come back in, because that might reset it. Because we want to hear what you're having to say. It's incredible. But you are freezing up, and it is becoming harder to hear.
Better?
So, not yet. So let's have you come back in, and we'll get back to his story. What he was sharing, and if you guys didn't hear all of it, what he was sharing was that he was in a car accident, left for dead. And his will and his ability to say, okay, let's get back up, taking that mojo, if you will, from what he does in his business, yet there were more aspects to it. And that's what he was talking about. We want to bring him back in, hopefully, and we can get him back up to hear his story. However, what I'd love to hear from all of you here is how much of it is our will. how much of it is our will when we are facing something like an accident, something like disease, something like a traumatic incident that can jeopardize our health? How much of it is our will? Okay, Dr. Joanne, yes, go for it.
I think a lot of it is our will. We have to have the determination, and he also said hope and the resilience to, no matter what's going on, to believe. And belief is also important, that we're going to get through it even if we don't know how. And there are so many times we don't know how, but with that, we're able to find those answers, and those answers can come in so many different ways. With a person listening, I get a lot of inner messages and guidance, but it's so important to believe and to have that hope and that resilience, and know, even if you doubt it, but know on some level that you're going to get through it no matter what.
Bingo. Bingo, bingo, right there. Anybody else want to piggyback off of this right now?
Well, I think we all are. We could all chime in. We're like this big chorus here, along with many of the listeners here too, Tamara. It's about mindset, heart set, soul set, that brings us into achieving anything in life, especially when there is some huge obstacle in our path. That's when we have to galvanize and really get our forces together, whether it's a willpower, tuning into God, getting out of our own way when it seems insurmountable. Here he is again, Michael.
Yes. And hopefully it looks like we're going to be able to hear from you much better now. You were sharing, and I want to kind of recapture some of what you were sharing, because we were having, some of it was coming in and out, yet we were all listening like intently, because what you have, we can feel what you have to share. But let's hear from your words again, what it is that's so powerful.
Well, like I said, I'm honored to be with these great guests, and the defining moment, the crystal clear, became very apparent when I'm left for dead after being hit by a drunk driver, get into another car, and that car got hit. And now I'm in a double accident, less than 3 minutes, being pulled out by the jaws of life, not knowing if I could walk. It was an unbelievable event. And by the way, the people that pulled over to help me, I would have been dead if they wouldn't have pulled up. And I never saw them again. They could have been angels for all I know. Mm-hmm. But in that moment, in that ambulance, I felt something that transcended time. And that wasn't the only time. I was also pushed into a guardrail and almost got decapitated. So we all go through life's hurdles, but we all have the champion inside of us. And it's not Captain America. It's not Superman. It's you. You have it, just like I do. And the more that you understand who you are, what you bring to the table, what God has downloaded in you, you're unstoppable. No, doesn't mean you're better than anybody. I'm not better than anyone. But I understand who I am internally now, and I won't let the voices or the noise get to me, because I have the remote in my hand. I can change that channel. And what I had to do was reboot my mind, because that's the command center. I had to redirect thoughts to understand, because I didn't come from a positive family. I came from a hardworking Italian family who was not positive. Great people, but I had to learn it from Tony Robbins and others. I had to redefine who I was and program this, so the other programs had to be deleted. You got to reboot your computer.
Your own computer.
I love it. Love it. I'm going to bring in Tim. What would you like to share right now?
Well, I totally agree with Michael, and it's great that you stayed with us, because you have a great message, and it's really about each individual realizing that all the stuff that they went through during childhood, and all of the negative self-judgments that they made, and that programming that they went through, because we're programmed, like 80% of our programming is done by age 5. And then the rest of the programming continues until age 18 is what the psychiatrists say. So to me, the reason why that's true is because the brain growth from like birth, actually we have growth in the womb, the last trimester in the womb, but that till 2 years old, you have like 75% of brain growth. And then by 5, it's 80%. And then by 18, it's 100% brain growth. That's why 18-year-olds think they know it all, right? So at 18 years old, all of us thought we knew everything, right? But that programming, just like you say, you not only have to reboot it, you actually have to go in and change the programming and remove the weeds of negativity along with the seeds. We all pulled weeds when we were a kid, right? So how I explain it is that in the garden of your mind, while you were growing up, all of these seeds of weeds from our parents and those people around us were laid in the garden of our mind, and they grew into the weeds that there are. And then people came through our life and they took a dump in the garden, right? And that festered all of those weeds, right? Made them grow big and strong. And then now we can go into that and actually pull the weed by the root, take the seeds and the weed with the root, put it in a bag, incinerate the bag, it goes poof. And then what do we have left in the ground? You have a divot, right? When you pull the weed, you got a hole in the ground. So now we can go in and plant what we want, the polar opposite positive, that you are good enough, you are smart, you are beautiful, you are handsome, you are successful in everything that you do. We can plant that now. And what happens, the miracle of miracles is, and it's actually natural, what happens is that what we plant gets nurtured from the unconscious, subconscious mind, and we automatically and naturally think better thoughts. We think more positive thoughts, and we, from our thinking, remember what we think about, we bring about. When that thinking happens, then your life becomes better just naturally. And then the question is, what do you want to do with your life? That's where the other success principles come in, as far as the goals and objectives, the planning, organizing, delegating, controlling, creative thinking. All of those types of things come into play, so you can actually experience the best life that you want, not from how you were programmed at 5 years old, but how you want it to be from your adult perspective.
Perfect.
So that's a miracle in and of itself.
Absolutely. Okay, so now what I want to do with our expert panel, we've set it up. I want each one of you take a minute to 2 minutes to give some kind of an actionable step that someone can take today or this week to start turning their lives around, to see the miracles of healing. If they're experiencing something, what would you say for them? Where do they start? Who would like to take the first shot? Okay, we're going to start with you, Michael.
Right now, you can shift. Right now. Maybe you're supposed to, there's no accidents. Maybe right now you can shift. Maybe you're going through a marriage problem. Maybe you're going through a relationship. Maybe financial. It doesn't matter. This can shift you with one thought. See, Dr. Joe is right. This depends who I spoke with. When you fire a thought, it creates new neural pathways. And that neural pathway can take you anywhere. So it's the shift. Right now, say, I can make a move. I have choices. I'm not stuck. There's a story of a POW that was beaten for weeks, for months. They tried to break him. And he said, they couldn't take my spirit and they couldn't take my thoughts. You have that power. You can shift right now and you can do anything. You got to plan it, but that one thought that I can do anything, I can get out of this mess. After every storm, there's a rainbow usually, even after a tsunami. So I understand you're going through some challenges. That's life. But when you come out, you'll be able to help others and you'll be able to understand that storm happened for a reason.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. Who would like to piggyback off of that? Joanne. Dr. Joanne.
And, I believe that's so true. What's important, though, is that those thoughts that say you're not good enough or you can't do it, or those happen really fast. And sometimes they sound incredibly loud, but they're not stronger than we are. And that's really what you need to be able to do. You need to look at that thought, that immediate thought that can come fast and feel like it's controlling your life, and substitute it with something powerful, like you were talking about. Substitute it with "I can," or thank you for the advisement, but I can do this," whatever it is. But you need to be able to catch those thoughts, which means that you need to pay a little bit of conscious attention to what's going on in your mind and shift it. And over time, it does take time sometimes. Over time, those thoughts, it's basically you're retraining your brain. And when you start retraining your brain, it resets. But you have to take that charge, and we can do it. That was a beautiful message. You can do it. And it's important to start right now and believe you can, and do it and take charge.
I love it. Okay, Tim.
Hi. So one of the things that I do for all of my clients is I give them a free exercise that I'll give everyone right now. So it's a very easy exercise. What you do is you take a sticky pad and you write the words "watch your thoughts" on it. And you take about 30 of the sticky notes and you put it up around your house, on the refrigerator, in the refrigerator, on the kitchen sink, above the toilet paper, as you walk in a door, out a door, in your car. Just put it up top. Don't put it on the speedometer. On your computer, basically all over. Okay. And every time you see the sticky note with the words "watch your thoughts" on it, you watch your thoughts like they're clouds in the sky. Remember when we were kids, you lay in the grass, you look at the clouds, and it looks like a dog or a horse or an angel or whatever the case may be. So if you can do this for 1 week, what happens is you become aware of the substance of your thoughts. And it's being just like a cloud. You look at it, you have a sexual thought, and you go, "Oh, that's a sexual thought." Just don't do anything about it. Just let it go, just like a cloud. It passes. Angry thought, whatever the thought is, just let it pass. And then at the end of the week, people call me and I give them step 2, but I'll also give you step 3 right now. Step 3 is that when you have negative thoughts, as you're watching your thoughts, in many cases, people are having an argument with their spouse or their boss or somebody else, and nothing's happened yet, but they're having an argument with this other person, figuring out what they would say if the other person says whatever. When you have negative thoughts like that, basically, if you say out loud, "cancel, cancel," or "erase, erase," or "delete, delete," I prefer "cancel, cancel," and then replace that with what you want to have happen. As you continue to be aware of your thoughts and do the "cancel, cancel," what happens is you can bring those thoughts more into a positive mode, because what we think about, we bring about, right? So if we're thinking negative, what are we bringing about?
Right.
Negative, right? If you're arguing with your spouse, you're getting prepared for it. What are you going to bring into manifestation? An argument with your spouse or your boss or your coworker, whatever the case may be, or yourself. Many people do that too. They do something and then they call themselves a dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
All of that goes in line with creating negativity in your life. So as we can start being aware, taking control, developing it to where we want it to be, then again, we're in more control, which we should be, because we're a soul with a mind and a body to use to benefit ourselves in the world. Well, number one, if you don't know your soul, that's what self-realization is really all about, which is one of the programs that I help people do. But once you realize you're a divine, ever-living soul, then the question is, what are you afraid of? You shouldn't be afraid of anything, because if the worst case scenario happens and you pass, you're still alive. You're still on the other side. And once you realize that, then the question is, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to create?
I love it.
Who do you want to create it with? Who do you want to have join you?
Perfect.
So that's, again, in realizing all of that, then you can really make the miracles happen in your life.
Perfect. Perfect.
Great point.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim. Joy.
Okay, well, I'm piggybacking off everyone, our beautiful everyone's here. And yes, we are walking miracles. Every single one of us, as Michael was saying, and Tim and Dr. Joanne, there's no one else like us. There's no other configuration like you out there. There will never be another configuration, even if you believe in other times and eternity and where we're going. And again, we could go on for hours on that.
Yes.
There is no one else like you. So, and as Oscar Wilde said, be yourself, everyone else is taken. So that's the beauty and the miracle. And as well as just to piggyback a little bit on turning our thoughts into our negative thoughts, right? Limiting beliefs. What I also notice for my clients is that I just say, notice when you're driving and you're at a stop sign or stoplight, what's kind of just going on behind the scenes that you're running. That's your programs. And then write those down, whatever it is, those limiting beliefs. And then whatever they are, I mean, it's just simplistic. What we focus on expands. We're in a quantum universe, right? Everything that we are focusing expands. So if you're focusing on something you don't want, like, I don't want to be poor, I don't want to be this, I don't want to be that, ask yourself, well, what do I want instead in the positive, and focus on that. That's how we create reality. We're creating our reality every single second, and everything, and this is something to leave for some of the viewers here, and I'm sure everyone here on the panel, Tamara, has this understanding. We create everything. We create the bad, the good, the ugly, the everything. We are very powerful creators, each of us. So again, if you're focusing on something you don't want, ask yourself, what do I want instead? And focus on that in the positive and watch the miracles happen.
Great point.
I love it. I love it.
Good
And
stuff.
Michael, do you want to just piggyback off of that and then take us out, because we're almost at that point. So what would you like to leave everybody with?
Just, you can, and really just do it. You can't fail. You're going to learn anyway. There's no misses. Nothing bad can come out of it. But when you make that thought, you make that decision, and you say what you already want, you have, then miracles happen. And you're all miracles anyway. So why not live it out? Be what you're destined to be. That's great.
I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, and then we've got like 30 seconds for everybody to say goodbye. Power of words is what I've learned. And a lot of it, Joy would say, okay, Tamara, let's revisit that a bit, and understanding the power of our words. And you have all brought that up, what I noticed in my own life is that I was using the negative in a way where I was saying, I don't want this. And my brain didn't understand that I was saying I don't. It was saying
You
I want.
self-sabotage all the time.
And ta-da! I was living that life because I asked for it. And when I understood that, finally, it shifted my whole entire life. And so that's what I want to leave everybody with, is encouraging you all to look up each and every one of these amazing healing panelists, and also the one that we had problems getting in, Ruth. She was not able to join us. Look them all up, follow them, encourage them, and learn from them. I would like for all of you to be able to say goodbye, and then we will be done with today's show. So, Dr. Joanne, what would you like to say?
Thank you so much. And as was said, we're all miracles, and it's beautiful to be here and share the miracles of every one of us together. And hopefully we put that thought in everybody's brain today and heart, that they are a miracle and they can do whatever it is they need to do or choose to do. Thank you.
Perfect. Tim?
Oh, there's a number of things that I'd like to say, but in 30 seconds, one of the things I think, there's a lot of talk around about this great awakening. And there's a great awakening about how society has been. And one thing, I believe the great awakening is really the soul consciousness, or the self-realization that you as yourself are a soul rather than you have a soul. You are a soul with a mind and a body to use to benefit yourself and the world. Once you learn that, then numerous miracles can happen, and you can really create the life that you really want to live. And it will probably go in a different direction than what you think right now.
Perfect.
There you have it.
Thank you. Thank you. Joy?
And yeah, Tim, and that's great. And everyone, it is a combination. We are walking, we're points of God. Let's just say that. I mean, source, God, creation, universe. We're the ground crew here. And so remember, you're not alone. We are all together on this earth, creating this better world, this new world, whatever our worldview is. There's a lot of, again, another topic, right?
Yeah.
That we are, we're so powerful in who we are. So follow your own alignment, follow your heart, right? There's so many different modalities to get out of our own ways. At the same time, honor who you are and honor the downloads, the inspirations that you get, because that's you, your spirit coming through and giving you your own source of wisdom.
Perfect. And I am going to say that next week, join us, because we've got one of our panels that you guys have been asking to have back. We'll be coming back to talk about the Healthy Habit panel. And they're going to be talking about gut health, because many of you want to know more. So with that, I want to say thank you to all of you for sharing your time and the miracles that are taking place in this world today for healing. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone. See you next week.
Bye.
Everyone.